Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So welcome everyone to Global Empowerment Summit 2021.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Wow, okay. Good. Have a good day, everyone. So welcome everyone to panel discussions on the topic, engaging to leading hybrid teams remotely. So my name is Helena Nguyen. I'm Vietnamese working in Malaysia. Just a quick background about myself. By profession, I'm a client service associate at a global corporation, Concentric Alliances, based in the USA. And in communications and leadership, I'm currently program quality director for Vietnam Toastmasters International, as well as club president for Metro Toastmasters International Club, Malaysia. I'm so happy to be a moderator for the panel discussion today. So in the era of COVID-19, the hybrid workplace presents a number of challenges for managers and team members. So leaders need to know what they can do to prepare for this hybrid workplace, to create practice that ensure employees in the office are in sync with those working from home. So, and as the hybrid team members, employees might have different perspectives. And in the span of the few minutes, you are able to see challenges and opportunities, a hallmarks of change leadership and hybrid team members. So today, I'm so delighted to have 5 very experienced panelists in the topic, engaging way to leading hybrid team remotely, to share their point of views, their experience and wisdom to drive greater engagement, productivity, and connections when teams are working in isolation. So let's welcome the first panelist here. We have Karen Ferris. Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Thanks, Helena. Hi, so I'm Karen. I'm based out of Melbourne, Australia. So it's midday, just gone midday here. I'm an organisational change management consultant. So I work with organisations to help people transition through disruptive and unprecedented change. I work with leaders to uplift leadership capability. And I also work with organisations to build workforces that are resilient in the face of constant and uncertain change.
Thank you, Karen. May I call Mallory Long? Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks, Helena. And hi, everybody. Very good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. So my name is Mallory. I'm the co-founder of Work Inspires. We are a people engagement and development company. So essentially what we do is that we help create and customize learning program for young leaders in organizations and also work on cultural transformation. So looking forward to a very fun panel sessions with everybody here.
Thank you for having here. How about Hassan? Hassan, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Helena. Hello, everyone. This is Hassan. I am a financial and medical interpreter based in Malaysia. I am also a member of iWorld Malaysia, it is a youth organization that are entitled into leading the youth and inspiring the youth. We do youth empowerment programs, CSR project, and networking events. So I am the event assistant in that youth organization. I help them in the planning and the execution phase. And I am really very excited to be a part of this panel discussion. Thank you.
Yes, I'm so happy we have you here. How about Chiga?
All right. Hi. Thank you very much. Okay. My full name is Jagadiswaran Manoharan. So people call me Jega. So I'm a management consultant and with the organization Accordia Training and Development. We are a management training company specializing in the area of team effectiveness and team culture and leadership using business simulation. So I'm a business simulation designer. I design business simulations and put teams through the simulation. And from that, we have a very fruitful discussion about where the organization's issues are and where they want to go.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so happy we have all of you here. So are you ready, panelists?
Yes.
How about
All
the
good.
audience? Are you ready? If you're ready to witness, to listen to the experience from the panelists, so type yes in the comment. Okay, so let's start it. So the audience maybe will answer later. Okay. So the first questions I want to ask you guys, like, I believe that all of us here has been experiencing working from home for a long time because of the pandemic. So are you prefer working in person or remotely? Just a quick question. So all of you here, can you answer?
For me, I definitely prefer working in person. I really miss the interaction with people. Yeah, so for me, in person for sure.
How about Karen?
Yeah, I'm generally, if I'm not on a client site, I'm generally working from home in my office.
Yes.
So most of the stuff I've been doing over the last 18 months, nearly 2 years now, has been virtually. So I'm excited to get back and interact physically with the clients I have. I think it's going to be a mix going forwards of virtual and physical now.
Yes, I could agree more. How about Chiga and Hassan? Do you refer working from home or working in workplace?
Well, I think I have a mixed emotions on that one because I kind of like going back meeting people because it's different. When watching someone in 3 dimension and 2 dimension is two different things, and I prefer that. But at times I think there are certain work even before this. There are certain, especially if I'm doing design work and all, I prefer being alone, and I don't want anyone to even call me during that time. So I kind of like the mix, but I share the same sentiments that Mallory and Karen have shared here. That is, we like to see people once again.
Yes, of course. Hassan, how are you?
Well, for me, yes, thank you, Helena. For me, the interesting thing is that I entered the career world in the last 2 years. So I have never experienced an in-person interaction with the teams and with the colleagues. All that I know about work is virtual, is on the screen. So that's the only experience that I have actually seen. I could say then from that perspective, I would prefer working virtually.
Yes, it's like a new norm for you because you work in remotely
Exactly.
with everyone. Yes. And for me, it's like either mixed emotions like Chaya shared with us before. And sometimes I feel I want to be sociable with co-colleges, but sometimes I feel like I'm familiar with the friendly environment, the cozy environments in my house. So sometimes I like that, sometimes I like this, but I think the experience is help us to get the new emotion too. Okay. And okay, for the very first question, how is it leading your hybrid team? So I noticed that Mallory and Trigger or Hassan here, you are leading a hybrid team. So how is it leading your hybrid team? Mallory, can you go first?
Yeah, I think for me, it's a emotional roller coaster ride because I'm somebody who needs to know what's going on, and I get stressed when I don't know what's going on. So I think when the situation started, about last year, we were all getting used to things. So we were trying our best to do this every morning huddle, 5 minutes call in. And then as time goes by, we realize that people are getting more and more distant because we're so tired of this Zoom fatigue and training online that we just don't call. So we just rely on WhatsApp. So you can go days without, I mean, a whole entire day without a single message coming into the company channel, and you go, is everybody doing their work? Is everybody all right? So it's days like that it stresses me out, and I go, hello guys, are you there? What's going on? And then
Yes,
there are
yes.
days that situation happens, and I wish that we could just have a quick call because the typing and typing and typing is just getting very irritating as well. So those are some challenges that I face on working with the team. On the other hand, now that we can actually go back to your office, we actually have this little gap of sort that you have not seen each other interacted in a long time physically, that you have these awkward social awkward moments when you're actually with each other now. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. How about you, Hassan?
Thank you, Elena. Well, the interesting thing about leading hybrid team is that it could be a bit challenging if the teams are in different time zones. So you actually need to plan ahead and make things aligned and actually consider the individuals that are in a different time zone. Because I am in Malaysia, some of the team members will be in the Middle East and in Africa. It will be a different time zone of 5-6 hours. So in sometimes they won't be alerted to urgent matters, to stressing matters that are happening in that right time. But actually, that gives you to make it actually makes you become more precise in delegating the tasks. So you will consider that thing, and you will be actually more precise in delegating the tasks. And
Yes.
also, you will be trying to learn the adaptability of the other person, and you will try to learn how they survive in the virtual environment. Um, and by considering that, you will be giving them the specific that actually matches their adaptability. So it could be actually, I could say that leading hybrid teams makes you learn more about the team members, about the individuals that you are doing the work with. And that's the most interesting thing about it.
Yes. So you are with us right here. So it means you are survive with the leading hybrid team remotely, right?
Yes.
Yes. So how about Chiga? Do you have any fun facts when you lead your hybrid team?
Well, in the beginning, it was just a shock. We just didn't know what was going on. So we just came together and we made it a point every morning. We had like a 5 minute catch up call or 10 minute. Everyone comes onto Skype. We have a designated channel there, and we just get onto it. And we're just going to talk about what are we going to be doing. So it started off with that. But in the early stage, what happened was. There was not much work anyway. Everything came to a standstill, and people were getting a bit concerned and worried. I think the biggest thing is we had to assure them stuff, that things are okay, things are normal. Not say normal, things are all right. We are still okay. But we did few things because we are into design. So we were having quite a bit of fun. We were designing, prototyping new games, and testing them online. So almost in a week, every twice or three times, we will be on a Zoom call or something like that, and just testing out games, giving feedback, and going back to the drawing board. So we kept ourselves busy that way. And we included everyone, so even those who are in the admin, I mean, there is no invoice to process. Okay, just jump in the bandwagon and have some fun. So that's probably that's just what we did.
Yes, yes, I believe we have the different experience when we lead the hybrid teams. So Karen, so as I noticed that you are the consultant. So what is your point of views on changes when managers lead hybrid team?
Yeah, I think for a lot of managers, and that's a good term rather than leaders, there's a subtle difference or a big difference. Managers are doing this for the first time in for many situations. I mean, if you're in a global company, you've probably been, remote working's not new, but for a lot of managers, it is a big challenge. And it was evident back in the start of 2020 that the behavior said loudly, we are not ready to do this. There's a company called Top 10 VPN, and they did some research. And in April 2020, the global demand for employee surveillance software went up by 87% compared to the previous year. And that is scary. That is really scary. So that's saying managers don't feel, unless they can see someone, they don't know how to lead them or manage them. So the biggest challenge for leaders is really measuring the right things in the right way. So it's about measuring people's performance by outcomes, not hours at a desk. So there's still this disillusionment that if I can see them standing or sitting at a desk, they're working. Well, and I know that doesn't mean they are, but there's still this sense that I need to see them. So it's a real big mindset shift for many managers moving into this space.
Yes, thank you for your answers, Karen. It's amazing because I noticed you have the different perspectives when you lead a hybrid team remotely. For the next questions, may I ask Hassan? So, can you share your point of views on engaging ways of leading your hybrid team when you start your working?
Thank you, Elena. I think the most important thing would be clear communication, because sometimes it could be very difficult for the individual or the team to grasp the information, to actually understand the task. So having a very clear, precise, and forward communication is a very important thing. The other thing is that when you are having this kind of situation, you really need to have empathy. I mean, empathy is always there, but you will just need to increase the degree of empathy you're showing to the team members and every individual. And I think by using that, it could be actually much, how can I say, it could be much simpler, and it could be much helpful for the teams to manage and to do the task in a hybrid mode. So those are the most two important things I focus on.
Yeah, so I noticed that you said that we have to have the clear communications and empathy with the team members, right? And
Yes.
how about Chega? So what is your experience when you lead the hybrid remotely about the engaging way to maintain the to attract and retain the team members remotely?
Okay. When you talk about attract and retain, I don't believe in that. I believe that if there is a need, people will come, and if people need to leave, we should respect them. And I am not so much into a talent retaining uh, thing. I'm more of an explorer. So an explorer understands that people will leave when they need to leave, and new people will join your journey if they need to join your journey. So during that period, we had two resignation, and both was for personal reason, nothing to do with the organization. One had to go and manage a family business because that was the requirement from the shareholders of the family business, so she had to go, and she was so feeling so bad about it. She wanted to stay. She liked that environment of us, because we are just crazy. We just we design stuff, prototype, and test it out and take it to the client, and like to see happy people playing games and debriefing from that and learning from that. Another person joined us and left about a month after that. The reason is because sales was not his cup of tea. Okay, so he came in, and then and you know what, doing sales during the lockdown period was even difficult, because it was
Yes, correct.
right. So it's totally different experience. So they left. So for me, it's about hybrid teams is this. Uh, we need to, as a manager, we need to ask them, what we need to know, what their intention is, and what is their career aspiration. And I think if we can really take time to explore and understand individual career aspiration and motivate them to actually get some kind of career aspiration, especially the younger generation. Sometimes they join a job, they really don't know what they want to do and all. They're just working 9 to 5 and all. So I think the role of a manager here is that if you have somebody reporting to you, it is your moral duty to actually help them out, to get them started off in their career journey. And I think it's a big disservice if we don't ask people, where do you see your career heading in 3 years from now, or what, just keep prompting that to them. So one thing that we had to do is that, um, ensure that communication. I think what Hassan said was very true. You got to still communicate, and I'm talking about communication means pick the goddamn phone and call people, rather than using text messages. Today's world, everything is text message and text message, and people get into argument over text message, and then later when you talk to them, they say like, oh, I thought that's what you meant and all that. So for me, it's like, if something is going on text message 3 4 times, I'll just call the person. Okay, let's talk and settle the matter. I think text message is for something that I do not need any immediate. I just need one reply or two replies or what. But I think if it's going to be a discussion, pick up the phone and call. And even if you have international teams, pick up the phone and call, or set the time if you're in different time zones.
Yes, it's amazing, Treasure. So I agree with you that when we have the video call, so when we have the team meeting, and it have the surveys by Zoom. So they says that it have 82% of users that there was greater trust with videos turned on. So when we lead the hybrid team, so it is better when we use camera, or when we call a one-on-one or team meeting, it will be build a trust and inclusions for everyone, right? So how about you, Karen? So as you are a consultant to help the managers and leaders, so what is the skills do you think the leaders can do in their capacity to lead high-performing teams?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I again agree with what Hassan said. I think, communication and active listening are vital. They always have been, but even more so when you've got people widely distributed and working remotely. Empathy is absolutely crucial. And we often talk about empathy being understanding how someone, walking a mile in someone's shoes. I actually think it's not. It's understanding how someone else walks in their shoes. What's their experience? What's their perception? Everyone's had a different experience over the last 18 months, 2 years. What is their experience? What is their situation? So we can truly empathize. It's easier to say than actually do. And Ernst & Young had just come out with some research that said, of the people they studied or participated in the survey, over half left a job because of a non-empathetic boss. So I think you can attract and retain talent by having the right leadership skills in place. And we now know that employees, we're talking about the Great Resignation, and Microsoft saying over 40% of the workforce is moving this year and will leave jobs because they have had time to reflect. So I say the Great Resignation is driven by the Great Reflection, that I can do better. So leaders really need to have the skills such as empathy and listening, a psychological safety, so people feel safe to say, I'm struggling, or safe to say, I don't think that's the right way to go, and have those conversations wherever they're located. And I think one of the biggest things leaders need to be able to do is to lead with inclusivity and equity, because we're now talking about this thing called proximity bias, where a person puts more value on the work done by someone they can physically see with them, co-located, as opposed to someone working remotely. It's also, research has always said that, you know, remote workers are less likely to be promoted than people who are physically present. And this is a bias that leaders are going to have to, or managers are going to have to overcome and check themselves all the time. And making sure when you've got people who are in an office and you're virtually meeting, that you reach out to those people that are joining via camera to make sure that they feel involved, they have a voice and they're heard. And understanding also the individual's preferences and characteristics. Some people like to just, you know, I've got an idea, I'll share my thoughts, blah, blah, blah. Some people like to be invited to speak.
Yes.
You know, I say, Hassan, would you like to join the conversation? Do you have anything to add? Where Mallory might be, you know, adding freely because that's her style. So leaders really need to understand each person's individual style and how they operate. And the final one before I shut up, empowerment. Leaders need to be able to empower, be clear on expectations, set direction, and then get out of the way. There's no room for micromanagement. There never has been, even though it's going on. We saw that by what I was talking about before, about surveillance. But when you're leading a remote team or a hybrid team, you cannot micromanage. It's got to go.
Yes, I see. Yes, so the empathy and the ground rules for communication is quite a great challenges when leading remote hybrid team, right? And the leaders need to deliberately include all team members and involve all meeting participants to create a sense of belonging, right? So, and how about you, Mallory?
I think, sorry?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I think I do echo the fact that what Karen mentioned about retention has its possibilities, but I do also agree that coming to this hybrid team, we have to understand that people have moved differently in different situations. I give an example, right? People have more time to do self-reflection during this whole situation. So with self-reflection, you have more time to actually understand what are some of the challenges that you are going through, what are some of the goals you want to go through, what are some of the career paths you want to take. So when you actually have when you have team members that have time to reflect, time to receive feedback, time to also determine which career progression they are, and you yourself as a leader will need to also understand that where or how can you facilitate them in such way, may it be in your organization or not in your organization moving forward. There are some, I personally know that one of my team member, he told me that, Valerie, during this pandemic, I realized that I'm actually not that good in managing things remotely. I'm actually working from home and it's difficult, very, very difficult. So empathy is one thing, but as a leader, it's also when they come to you, you need to be the person that says, okay, what can you do about it? Or how can we facilitate such abilities for you to work better remotely? Is it the timing? Is it the schedule? Is it, I can't send you back to the office, unfortunately, but what else can I do for you? So I think those are things that leaders forget to talk about, rather than they're so focused on empathy is one thing, like I empathize with you, but what's next? So that is one thing I like to emphasize on.
So I noticed that all of you demonstrate the empathy and genuine caring for each team member's well-being. So that is the positive outcome of the pandemic. So we can help them. So for the next question, so I want to ask with the GES, so what is your challenge when you lead the hybrid team remotely?
I think the biggest challenge is we can't sense people as how we could sense them when they were face to face. So sometimes people are actually going through certain emotional things. You see, when we are in a face to face situation, you get to you can sense people's aura, and something is just not right. I look at a person's face, the way they speak, and you can just say something is not right. And that gave us a lot of avenue for us to know whether people needed help or not, and we can call them and say, hey, you look a bit different, what's going on. But in the hybrid condition, those things can go unnoticed, even with your video on. And I'm talking about video on because in our company uh, I mean, we don't insist, but everyone turns on their video, and they have to turn off their video for valid reason. Fine, they turn off their video. But even with video on, you cannot tell whether are they upset about something or not, because when they are coming into the meeting, they are probably managing others. They probably just woke up or what. So the face is a bit different. So you just assume that something else is the issue. And until you meet them face to face, then you realize that something is not right. Or what. And at times we forgot to ask, hey, is everything going well? Is everything okay? So I guess that the biggest challenge is not being able to sense people as how it used to be. So this is where I think for us, we had to put in a bit of additional effort to call them individually. And I don't do this all the time, but couple of months, I think, and then I just call and say that, is everything okay? And I think that the biggest trigger point is because when some things don't go right, especially somebody is supposed to deliver something and they don't deliver it on time and all that. I guess the first thing is to actually call them and ask them, what's the challenge. And that's why I insist in the phone call, because in that challenge, when they express their challenge and all that, from their voice we could actually sense. So if you ask me, the biggest challenge that I face is not being able to sense people as easy as it used to be when we were in face-to-face situation.
Just may I ask, so your situation is just one or two scenario, or all team members? So I mean the rest are good. So just one or two members have a problem.
Oh well, you see, everyone has their own thing, and
Yes.
during the you see, I led a team that never worked remotely. Unlike Hassan led a team that joined the organization with the notion that we are going to work remotely. Two different culture here, all right? So these people join the working physically. They have to adapt to the that condition. And later, when I had one-on-one with people, then I realized that somebody was not happy about someone, and I did not sense it. No, in the meeting, in the daily calls and all that, did not sense at all that there was something was going on, some undercurrents were going on and all that. But after, when you talk to them, they say that they're not happy about something and all that. Okay, then I started understanding. And oh yeah, another thing is family issues was another
Yes.
big thing. You see, we used to say, don't bring your personal stuff into the office. I mean, that's like a general kind of rule everybody follows. Personal issues, you need to settle it when you come into the office. Leave your personal life outside, handle the office. Once you finish this, you go back to your personal life. Don't bring your office into your personal world. That was the rule in the past, and that was considered to be matured way of working. But right now, what we have done is we have taken our office into their personal home
Yes.
by force. And we have invaded their personal home, and therefore I think it is not we got to be a bit more respectful to that. And the other thing I find that we needed to watch these people, and I think you see the role of a manager is taking care of the well-being of your people and aspiring and inspiring your people to do better. So I think sometimes in the midst of busyness, we might just forget we are going into performance. We fail to see that the lady who is married, who is sending you a proposal for you to check at 8 p.m. So when I see something's coming after working hours, I actually do have a call check with them. Is that you don't have to do it late night, okay? Unless you have planned your time in such a way, you can't do it in the afternoon. You're doing it at night. That's fine. Because I see some of these guys and the ones who are single. On the weekends they will do something and they'll send me over the weekend. I said, like guys, weekend is weekend. Public holiday is public holiday. Go get something else done, because if you start focusing this, you can't see the difference between the working life and your personal life. And I'm more concerned about one day somebody coming and telling me, you know what, I'm working long hours, I'm working beyond that, and that usually that thing can come back and they can blame the manager for it. So I think the role of the manager is to having conversation with people and tell them to separate personal life. If that's your family time, that's your family time. So that goes back to what kind of agreement do we have with our people in the team. So if you have a cutoff time, then it's a cutoff time. If you need to what do you call it, ask someone for something after working hours, what's the protocol, what's the agreement? You see, there's no right and wrong. It's all about coming back to what was your agreement with your team. So for me, in our team, is that if you're on medical leave, you are on medical leave, and we insist that you go to the clinic, go get your MC and report it that you're on MC. And when you're on MC, please don't answer text message, because once you start answering text message on an MC period, what happens is that your colleague thinks that you're working and starts giving you another question. So, and this is where, as managers, you need to ensure that the culture of the team is that if somebody is on medical leave, if somebody is on annual leave, working remotely and all, this does not give you the permission to contact them. I think that's a very important thing. Respect people's personal space there.
Yeah, so thank you, Trega. So I noted that you are a great leader because you know the leading hybrid team remotely is very challenges for us, right? And how are you, Karen? Do you have another or similar scenario when you talk to managers?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that's got to be faced is by a lot of organisations, and most now, are working remotely or starting to come into the hybrid situation. But there has to be a realization that there's no one size fits all answer to this. And people and managers are looking for it. What's my hybrid model look like? What days do people come into the office? How many days are they going to be in the office? And they're the wrong questions to be asking. We need to be looking at our business. What are the goals and the outcomes that the business needs to deliver? And then what are employee preferences going forward? Who wants to work remotely all the time? Who wants to work in the office? Who wants combination of both? How many days is the preference? Because every organization is different. And then take those preferences and say, do they meet the outcomes as a business that we need to deliver? And if they do, then that's great. If you start to decree the days someone comes into the office, if you say you've got to come in 3 days a week, then people are going to do they're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and extend the weekend. So everybody's going to start operating the same way. It's removing the flexibility. You cannot decree. This is all about flexibility. This is what employees are saying they want. So how can we provide that flexibility and adaptability and agility that the employees are asking for, but meeting business needs? So it's having those conversations and talking to people about what it is that they want, and recognizing that there is no one answer to this. And I think for a lot of organizations, What I see this is presented us now is the biggest opportunity we've ever had in generations to redefine the way that we work, to reflect, to reinvent, reimagine how we work and make life better for everybody, business people, managers, etc. But it isn't an easy thing to do. As Jeg has pointed out, there's lots of challenges to be faced and a lot of new learnings and things to be overcome. But all because it's uncharted territory doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. I think we have to. I'm saying to organizations, go, no, we'll just get everybody back in the office. I go, no, it's not going to happen. The genie is out of the bottle and we've broken the bottle. There is no going back to the way it was before. So let's do this together. Let's work out what our model is going to look like, and how we're going to operate. To me, it's about each team leader or each manager working with their team and going, okay, when does it make sense for us all to come together physically? What work can we do remotely just as well? At Jeg said design, concentrated work. Most of us are knowledge workers. We think for a living. We like sometimes to not be disturbed. That's fine. When we need high energy innovation, does it make sense to try and physically co-locate? So there should be the team and the team leaders that are working out who needs to be in the office and when. And if we have good office management systems that allow us to book collaborative spaces and desks, etc., then we should be able to manage the workspace. We're not going to need the space that we needed before, or we need to now reimagine that space and redesign it. So although because there's lots of challenges like security and logistics and facilities and property and all sorts of things to consider, the biggest change is going to be around our ability to effectively lead high-performing hybrid teams. So we need to do, when I talk to leaders, do it with do it with everybody, involve everybody. Stop doing change to people and do it with them. And they will come along for the journey. And it's about having open and honest conversations. It's about leaders being vulnerable and say, this is new to me too. I'm on a learning journey. There will be bumps in the road. We will get this wrong. There will be setbacks. Let's go on the journey together and get through those challenges and remove those obstacles together. Leaders do not have all the answers, and nor should they be expected to. But some people think when they're in that position and they have the title of a leader or a manager that they suddenly have to have all the answers. Well, they don't. That's why you have teams. Otherwise you'd be on your own. So yeah, I think it's about that realization that this is complex. There's lots of moving parts, but it's a great, great opportunity.
Yes, great, Karen. So we have the comment from the Eugene. Initially, it was difficult to envisage challenges to hybrid working condition. So mental health issues are real. So engagement is the key. So it's absolutely true, right? And it's challenge to establish the new norm for communication, collaborations, and working together as high-performing team, as you mentioned before. And I want to hear experience or the sharing about the challenges from Mallory.
I think when it comes to engagement as well as when it comes to mental health, a lot of people really underestimated the effect of it. Now let's talk what hybrid means, right? So enough about this remote. So let's hybrid. Hybrid here means half of the team is in office and half of the team is at workplace, or vice versa. It could be a certain ratio from 10% in the office and 90% at home to 20% to 50%, depending on the organization itself. Now, when you have a hybrid team, what happens? Let's say you're meeting your friends face to face. I give you an analogy that way. Okay, let's say you're meeting your friends face to face, and the five of you are sitting down, we're having a chat, and then there are a few friends who are abroad who couldn't come by, so they do a call, they zoom in. They will never be as engaging or interactive as those people who are physically present. That's the reality, right? So, with that being said, when you want to create an engagement in a hybrid team, for that matter, it's not about just, oh, okay, we got to do things in the office or we got to do things for the virtual. It's how can we make sure those people at home can still properly interact and talk to the people at work. And similarly, how can people at work really be able to interact effectively with the people at home? Because you want to make sure that the teams can work together regardless of distance. You wouldn't want when everybody comes back to the office, those in the office are extra closer to one another, and those that are at virtual are, due to family reasons or whatever, they couldn't come back to the office, they are distant, and that will actually cause a lot of team breakdown rather than team bonded, even though engagements are created. Now, with that being said as well, now what organizations are moving towards too is what they call team rebuilding. So it's not really just a team building element anymore, it's a team rebuilding. Why? Because they have to tear down what was once upon a time the way the team works, and then rebuild to a way that how teams should be moving forward, tackling issues inclusive of mental health and engagement. Because these were things that were issues but were not talked about those days, and now it became more prominent and relevant. So the team as leaders, as the whole team itself, like what Karen said, it's not just a leader's job, but everybody needs to come together and put the pieces together what a team should be, catered specifically for the team, the culture moving forward.
Yeah, thank you, Mallory. I couldn't agree more with you that team rebuilding is so important to build up the engagement for all a team. So it's help us to build a sense of belonging, right? So now we have one more panelist. So everyone, let's welcome Swarali Shona. Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi all, good morning from this side. Well, I'm Swarali, I'm a business psychologist and I'm currently working in HR to get some experience. So as a part of the hybrid team, I'm going to give the, rather opposite perspective where I am actually being managed as a part of hybrid team instead of managing the hybrid team.
Thank you so much.
That's about me. Thank you.
Yes, we are talking about the challenges when we lead, when the managers or leaders lead the hybrid team remotely. So, so I noticed that you asked the team member remotely. So, do you have any challenges?
So yes, when it comes to understanding, there are a lot of challenges because I think the gap between two people, like the actual physical one, has a lot of scope, which induces a lot of communication gap and misunderstandings. And I think that it's really important that the associate along with the manager make efforts to reduce the gap, because there sometimes a task is given and the associate understands it in a very different manner than the manager expects it to put it forward himself. So that's one of the biggest challenges that I have seen, because being new in the corporate world, I am not aware of all their technical things, their jargons and everything. And I think that if it were not for the pandemic um, and the work from home structure, it would have been way easier for me even to be able to produce or give the outputs that are required from my end. So that's one of the main challenges that I've come across in the pandemic. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Swari. And so I agree with you that the gap between the communications from everyone is so real. And how about Hassan? Do you have the similar scenario with the Swari when you lead the team in organizations?
Yes.
Go on.
Thank you, Swan. Yes, Helena, I think the challenge is, as what Swali said, the expectation. And the expectation will affect the productivity that the individual is giving. So you're trying to create a standard base or a standard level of productivity one individual will give you a higher productivity, another one will give you a different productivity. So that could be a bit challenging for the task that you are doing and for the project that you're doing. Uh, so this actually necessitates you as the manager or the leader to actually clarify things, to give clear direction on what you're expecting and what the outcome should be. And so, yeah, given that it will be much easier and simpler for the individual to understand, for the team member to understand what is expected from them. And then based on that, they will be willing to go the extra mile and adjust their productivity and do whatever they can to finish the task.
Yes, of course. So finish tasks is the really important for all team members, and it's challenge for the leader to help them to figure out what is their challenges and how they can accomplish that task completely right. So everyone, so please write your answers if you in the comments if you want to ask the panelists. So after the final questions, I will read your comments, your question to the panelists, so panelists can help you to answer the questions. Okay, and next we can move to another questions. Like I may start with trigger. So when I listen to your challenges, so I noticed that the leader have many tasks to do, and you also have to take care of the team members, and it's really challenging for you to take care of a team member remotely. So the questions coming to my mind is that how you can control, how you can manage your roles as your leader.
Okay, I think that's a good question. Thanks for that. And go back to what Karen said just now about people who work remotely tends to be less promoted or rewarded compared to those who they tend to see them face to face or get better appraisal when they are face to face. And here's where the real challenge is about um, putting that additional effort into uh, seeing the task as one and the development as another one. So it's not, I don't have a fixed answer. This is not something that you say that, okay, this is how you're going to do it. It's not like Monday to Wednesday, I'm going to be task oriented, and Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be people oriented. It doesn't work that way. I think it's something that goes inside of us, and I would say leaders spend time reflecting. So leaders should spend time reflecting. Call it meditation or what, whatever you do it. Spend quiet time, and in the quiet moment, you can use light music or whatever. Just focus on your breathing and all that, and just relax. Because the problem is sometimes we are so agitated. We are so agitated with targets and all that, and you just can't see. You have your blinders there and just running in one direction, and you feel that you are doing right, and suddenly you have five resignations from the team and said, hey, what happened? I didn't know. I didn't see this coming. So how is it that you don't see things coming? Because we don't have the sensitivity up there. So I think one of the thing is spend time reflecting. Okay, whatever field you are in, and this is not field specific. It's not like I'm in the banking, so I don't reflect. No, I'm talking about leaders in general. Anybody spend time reflecting. And the other thing is also have a personal checkup with yourself if you are being fair with people. All right, so if that means that you need to have a one-on-one talk to people, ask them, guys, hey, is there something that you need to tell me about? Am I being fair with everyone? Is there something that you want to tell or what? Sometimes they won't say, but what you want to do is you want to sense. You want to sense how things are, and you also want them to be in the zone that you are not just talking about tasks. You are also concerned about well-being. So ask your team members if you're being fair or what. And one part of it, I feel that you also need to explain to your team members on certain decision. Okay, this is my boo-boo, right? I'm going to tell you about what happened. In my case is that when we opened up the economy, and right now you can get back to office and other, I told one of the staff team members, I said, um, all right, inquiries are coming into the office. People are calling into the office line. So, and I think maybe you need to get back to work. And the person said, okay, I'll get back to work. But then what happened was the next day, this person was on leave, on medical leave. And I told the other colleagues, hey, look, she cannot be alone in the office. I mean, she'll go crazy. So I want you guys, one of you, to just sort of like take turns. Let's not crowd the office. I think in our office we can safely have up to about 3 people at one time, but at least let's have two. At least she has a colleague over there and all that. But that message did not reach her. That message reached the team, did not reach her. And later, when we were having a conversation, she said that I feel it's a bit unfair. Then I realized that, oh my, I told that to the team when she was on MC. You look at the kind of things that a manager has to look into. It is a genuine error. It's not even an error, it's a genuine situation, but it sent another message there, where the other person assumed. So this room for assumption is going to be very, very big in your team. That happens even with physical teams. So when you have hybrid teams, it just got amplified even more. So I think leaders reflect, spend time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. Just sit down quietly, breathe in, breathe out, reflect. Slowly you'll start sensing, you'll increase your sensitivity to what's going on around you.
Okay, thank you for it's such a fruitful experience as your leader. And I want to ask squarely, so do you think Jaggers is the best leaders, or what I mean is what is the skill do you think the leader have to build up the team remotely successfully?
Thank you, Helena. I think yes, Jaga, you have a point there. Reason being, I think I've been in a situation myself where such misunderstandings have been a huge part. And there were times when, I was like, okay, managers need to calm down, because if they're leading a team, if they are controlling a bunch of people under them, I think they have to have that skill, that potential to be able to think calmly, even in demanding situations where, like, the way I see it always is, the it's like a battlefield. If the leader is going to be dead, everyone is going to retreat. So if something happens to the leader, I'm pretty sure the people under him are going to be like, okay, wait, what's happening? There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of chaos, and everyone is like, okay, should I do my stuff or should I do something that my leader had asked me to help for someone else? So, sorry, definitely I think that uh, it's very important for the leader to take a step back at times, calm down, think, reflect, and even better or even more important is be able to communicate properly. In no situation the leader should, even by the slightest mistake, should give an impression that he does not care about his employees. I think we were talking about the well-being before. So, even when giving commands or allotting responsibilities, I think the well-being comes first. It's the communication skills of how the leader or how the manager actually, places well-being and the task at the same level and then presents it to the associate. Instead of saying something, no, I want to get this done no matter what. Okay, when you say this, I understand the task is high priority, but are you really considering the well-being? Are you considering my situation? Are you considering any associate situation for that matter? So I think that I completely agree, Jaga, that reflection is really important. But to add on, I think that communication skills are even more important. That's my say. That's my experience so far.
Yes. Oh, all of you here mentioned about the communication, and that is like a key message for everyone for if you want to lead the hybrid team. And how about Mallory? So I would like to ask you about what is your final thought when we lead a hybrid team? So you said before that the hybrid team right now is like a mix of locations. So some people work fully in office, but some people work fully at home. So what are your final thoughts?
Okay, I think so. I'm just going to share from a people and business perspective. So I'll let the rest talk about the other components. So for me, it's always important to understand firstly what's the business goal and direction. I would just like to touch on Swarali's point a little bit earlier about how some leaders make certain remarks without realizing like I want this done no matter what. Kind of remarks like that that tend to may affect somebody's well-being. But a lot of times these are also things that should be managed way earlier. Give example, as a leader, now I'll tell my team, okay, moving forward, we have one last quarter. So one last quarter, what are some things we need to do in order to get there? And what are we going to do about it? Where is the current business situation? Where is the business goals? And what are we going to do about it? So when you can be very clear and transparent and tell them that this is the expectations managed and what are the limitations that we're going to set, that everybody associates and below will know that okay, so this is where we're moving to. I'm one leader that is very common. I've used that word, we're going to get this done no matter what, as a very common statement. But I am somebody that talks to my team in advance and say that I am somebody like that, but I mean no harm. If you feel that I've hit certain areas that you want some time off, just talk to me, I'll be fine. But I've managed that in advance. Everybody that joined my team, I said that I'm this kind of person when I'm stressed. I'm this kind of person when I'm edgy. I'm this kind of person when I'm happy. What do I expect from you? I like that comes from reflection, right? I reflect a lot about who I am as a leader, and I'm not perfect. So this is the best that I am. But if you feel that okay, is anything not working out in between us, please come and talk to me. So my team have seen me at my absolute worst, where I've just guys, this is nonsense, nonsensical. We gotta get this done no matter what. And they're okay with it because they know, okay, Mallory will cool off in like next 15 minutes. She'll be fine. And they've also seen me broken down and cry because I'm so scared I do not know what to do. And those are all transparency. So when my final message to lead hybrid is that you need to be a bit more transparent as a leader. You need to be a bit more vulnerable, but you also need to be the person that be able to give them a sense of direction and compass. So, and for all the associates, empathize your leader as well. It's not hard. It's not easy being at that position where we have to juggle between business and people goal at the same time while also thinking about feeding your family and well-being of yourself. So empathize with the leader along the way and understand that okay, how can we try to merge a business and people go together. I think that would make hybrid working a lot better.
Yeah, thank you, Mallory. So transparent or vulnerable is like leaders might feel like vulnerable sometimes, and and I noticed that empathy here is needed for everyone, including managers, leader, and team members remotely, right? So sometimes team members think leaders should empathy them because they have to work harder at home or they have the issues, and the leaders or managers also have their own problem, their own issues, and team members should can maybe understand and empathy with them. So it's the great message from Mallory. And how about Karen? What do you think about the empathy between the team members and leaders, and what is your thought? What are your final thought to give advice to the leaders?
Yeah, I think so many good points coming out from everyone on this panel. It's amazing. Being open, honest, being transparent, being authentic, being prepared to be vulnerable. Leaders need to see vulnerability. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of great courage. The fundamental shifts that leaders really need to make. And we've talked about empathy. You know, we need to empathize. Everybody's had different experiences throughout the last 2 years, and going forward, everyone will have different experiences, different values, different perceptions. And leaders need to be empathetic and remove the filters and remove the biases and understand how that person is really, what their experiences are. And I think on that, we're talking about the things leaders need to do. And you know, research has shown that most people get elevated or placed in a leadership position in their late 20s, early 30s. The first leadership development they get is in their 40s. They've had over a decade to embed bad habits, if you like. And they've probably, the role model they probably have is their bad boss that went before them and their bad boss that went before them. So organizations, if ever there was a time to help leaders, because most leaders, they want to be the best they can. And they go, okay, I've now got this uncharted territory. I'm leading a hybrid team. I've got some people in an office. I've got some people in a hub, some people working from home. There's questions I need help answering. I need help knowing how to do these things. And we need, organizations need to provide that support and guidance and coaching, mentoring to leaders who are now in this, well, as they always should have done, but especially now, is do not leave people to flounder and strive to find the best way of doing things. Let's provide that support, as leaders need to provide that support for their employees. So leadership development is absolutely an imperative, if you like. Can you teach people to be empathetic? You can help people be better empathizers. I think there's a, you know, it's like, is it inherent, or, you know, is it an innate thing? And I think the biggest thing, and it's come through on what the people are saying here, is if leaders have, when you say, I shouldn't say one priority, there is only one priority, and that is employee well-being. It absolutely has to be, and it always should have been, but even more so now, that the well-being, mental and physical well-being, but the mental well-being of employees has to be paramount. You know, we've gone through unprecedented change over the last 2 years, and the next big disruption is right around the corner, and we won't see it coming. It might not be a pandemic, it might not be a financial crisis, but there'll be the next thing we just didn't expect. And it's going to have an impact on people's mental well-being. So we need to make sure that we're looking after it and looking out for it. And like Jega said, it's easier to sense these things when you're sitting next to someone and, are you all right? You know, you can notice a behavior change or a language change or something, then you can say, you know, how are you feeling? Is everything okay? And I always say, you know, ask someone how they're feeling, and they say, no, how are you really feeling? Really, you know, try and dig down and get the right answer, because some people will just go, yeah, I'm all right, because they think it's the right thing to do. When people are remote, it's harder to get that sense. So every leader needs to be asking, how are you feeling? How are you really feeling? And make sure they're asking the right questions to uncover anything. And that's about establishing trust with every employee, that what you share with me is between you and me. If you've got an issue, whatever it might be, with your work, with the personal life, with the situation, then I'm here to help. It doesn't mean as a leader I have all the answers, but I'm here to support and find the right answers. And I think that's one of the big barriers leaders currently have, is that they're scared to reach out and ask those questions and say, are you okay? In case someone says, no, I'm not, because they're like, oh, now what do I do? They're not supposed to be a general practitioner. They're not a medical professional. They're there to provide the right support and guidance to get the support and the help that person needs. So I think that's really even more important now in the situation that we're in.
Yes, thank you, Karen. So I see you have the many points to talk to the leaders. So it's like leaders should have the clear fundamental how to lead the team member and taking care of the mental well-being for each team member, and be empathetic to how each team member is feeling, regardless of where they are located. that is very important to the leader, right? So Hassan, so what is your thought? What is the final thought about this topic when you lead the hybrid team? And do you have the strong desire that you want to lead the team in the office?
Thank you, Helen. I think Jagat and Karen has summarized almost everything. So I could actually say that I could just build on what they said. It's about the clarity of direction, and it's about the engagement and empathy, and it's about leading by example. That's the three most important things. And the other question about the office, I think it's a question that I will need really to ponder upon and think, because I haven't experienced the working in an office environment, but it will be actually a true adventure. The people normally in this situation, their adventure and challenge was going to the remote work. For me, it will be going to the office and having those in-person uh, dealings and in-person interactions.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I hope that you have the chance to work in the workplace. And so, Warily, so do you have the idea or the thoughts about the topic that's how to benefit the team and the leader to build up the high performance team remotely, as you are the part of the remote team member?
Okay. Yes. So maybe. Okay. So yeah. So as a part of a remote team, it is very crucial that there is some sort of connect between the leader and the associate, be it a small team leader, uh, a leader of the seniority level, or even a managing manager, reporting manager, doesn't matter, because I think the connection that we have is going to actually affect the relationship with me and the manager as well as the whole team. Like Karen correctly said that it is important it is important that we actually sit down with a person and ask them that what's really going on. So like falling back on that human aspect is really crucial, especially with the disconnect that we all are facing due to this pandemic. Because like honestly speaking, even in my place, my place is a really small place. It's like literally one bedroom, kitchen, hall, only 3 rooms. My mom is around when I'm working, and there are times when I'm like completely in the laptop, only on the screen, seeing nothing else. There's something going on around, maybe she's having food, maybe she's cooking, but I cannot really connect with her. So despite us being closely stuck together in our house prisons, we're still even more stuck to our laptops. And it's very important that the person you're in contact with 24/7, or like for the most part of the day, which is 9 to 10 hours, is your manager, is your team. So it's really important that we have that thing that okay, if we are not able to connect with others around us, we connect with the people whom we are actually talking to. And it's important for to be even be able to be productive, or generate ideas, that our head needs to be clear all the time. With so many things going on, that one cathartic release or some escape is really necessary, and I think no better than the manager. So if all of this is like in place, I think getting things done, or maybe focusing on the task more, is going to be easier and more possible. Because as far as I like of course I'm speaking from my experience, because I'm not a leader yet, but this is what I've been experiencing, that there are times when I think, okay, wait, maybe they shouldn't have been handled this way, maybe a certain way, because there I know where the gap is, which maybe the or maybe my manager doesn't realize that there's something that I need. So tuning down, actually going down to the level of the associate or your team member is really important, is what I think, and that is going to help the team to move ahead as a whole.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So you say
So
that
you say that
connections
connections
and
Mhm.
getting done are the two key measures to how the team remotely with the high performing, right? So let's move to the GES. So what is your final thoughts about the topic?
Well, Alina, I just feel like um, you will never be a perfect leader, and don't try to beat yourself into becoming one. So I think you should always aspire to be a leader. If you go and interview my team members, they will tell all the flaws that they have with me. And I think I like what Mallory said, that vulnerability is actually very important. Don't try to be a perfect person to your team. I mean, your team must know that this is the downside, this is the upside, and all that. And as a leader, if you can get 8 out of 10 correct, that too, screw it. It's all right. Doesn't matter. Let it be. If you can get 7 out of 10, three is not correct about yourself, fine. It's okay. But trying to achieve a 10 out of 10, or trying to portray a persona that I have all the solution, is not going to be helpful in this current environment. I think what Karen pointed out is very, very correct, Karen. What you said about the disruption, the word is, we don't know. I don't know. So if any leader say that I know what's coming 5 years from now, any president of any country says, okay, well, maybe if a president of US says, I know what's going to happen 5 years from now, maybe I might believe, because I think they know what's going to happen 5 years from now, right? So, but the thing is, I think nobody really knows what's going to happen. What are the new disruption that is going to come? So I think the most authentic answer a leader can sometimes say is, I don't know, but let's find out. And that means we are no longer sort of the leader. It's just that, you know what, hey, I'm just an assembler. I'm just a person who's convening this team over here, but we're going to discover it ourselves, as a team together. And somebody might find out something before us, and let's just congratulate them, celebrate them. Um, and in our team, one of our team members actually designed a certain game that is doing very well, because when we went into lockdown mode and all that, team building went virtual. People want to do virtual team building. How in the world do you do virtual team building? So somehow people figured it out, and one of them figured out how to build an escape room from that, and it turned out to be well. But it's not my idea. Okay, we probably were involved a little bit in putting the ideas together, but somebody spearheaded that, and we need to give them that recognition and all. So um, learn to grow as a team, not as a leader shining out there. Hey, look, this is my team. I created this, and I think there's no more. That days have already gone past. When Jack Welch retired, I think today's world is a lot more different.
Yes, fantastic trailer. So I believe that everyone is like you make people let's your head down, their head down, because you says I don't know. Let's find out. It is the the positive mood of the being the leader, right? And I believe that we can end the discussion right here, but we also to discuss and answer the question from the audience. So from Jonathan, he has the questions. So it's quite interesting. So he said that productivity versus vision targets KBI. Benchmarking pre-pandemic versus 2020 and now 2021. Below par, on par, exceeding expectation, team as well as individually. So I think Karen Ferris, you can help them. You can help him to answer.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've understood the question, John, so apologies. But in regards to productivity, there's a lot of studies out there that said productivity has increased when people are working from home. The jury's out because the other study is that people are working longer hours at home. So is it increased productivity because they're doing more hours, or is it really just increased productivity? So there's two sides to that coin. My personal take is that people are more productive. If they've got the situation that they can, like Swaraj said about, mum's around and there's noise and there's distraction, you're probably not going to be as productive. If you have, like as I have, a dedicated space, an office to work from home, then I am more productive when I need to focus and concentrate. It depends on the type of work I'm doing. And what are some of the things I advise people to do, which is probably digressing a bit, but if you are struggling to have that cut off to say that's work ended and this is my personal time, is to try and find a space in your home that is sacrosanct to work. That is where the laptop sits. And when I close the lid, it's like walking out of the office and I don't go back unless I get that emergency phone call or whatever. It's too easy just to go back and just check on the emails and check what's going on. And it's the same with myself. It's easy to come back in the office sort of after dinner and just check things. So I make it's a ceremony in my head, if you like, that when I close that door, I'm walking. That's work done. That's done for the day. And we all need to try and do the same when we're working remotely or working from home, is to make sure we get that cut off. But I think because if we have the right conditions, we can be more productive. We're not distracted, we're not interrupted. But it depends on the nature of the work we're doing.
Thank you, Karen. So anyone, do you want to share your perspective from Jonathan's question?
Okay, I think I'll give a different perspective of how productivity comes to be measured. I think, yes, a lot of workplace, those days productivities are measured like you clock in, you clock out the office, like, you have this card thing that you tap. And then now everybody's working on. So there are actually companies who do things like, oh, you have to be on the Teams or whatever. After a certain time, if you're not there, it goes idle and then this person is no longer there. I think there's a lot of sense of trust issues. That's one. But I think I would encourage organizations to measure productivity differently based on results rather than based on time in. Because I give you an example. If let's say I'm a mother with young children that has to go to school virtually, and the kids are I mean, how many children, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, can sit in front of a laptop for hours? No way. Okay. So imagine as a mother, I need to make sure my kids are in front of the computer before class starts. I need to make sure lunch is ready. I need to make sure dinner is ready, and many things in between. So productivity hour for this person could be like 5 a.m. before the kids wake up. And maybe after the kids go to bed early. So it doesn't matter as long as they get the job done when they get the job done. So that's one kind of way of measuring productivity. So rather than clocking in that, okay, everybody have to do 9 to 5, 8 to 10, 8 to 6 kind of hours, you measure based on, okay, what is the best time that works for you? And then how can you do it? Okay, so you mentioned in short-term productivity and individual productivity decrease or increase, target met or exceeded. I think Karen has answered your question with that already.
Yes. So Jonathan, are you agree with the answers from Karen and Mary? So let me know. Oh, he have the upcoming questions. Team productivity and individual productivity decrease or decrease. Targets being met or exceeded.
Well,
so Julia, do you want to answer the question?
I think I'm in the same boat as Karen. I'm trying to make up what is that a statement or what? But unless, okay, I'm going to have to assume the question. In short, team productivity. Whether team productivity is increasing or decreasing. I think his question is, has team productivity increased or decreased? We have seen both of it happening. In some places, team not team productivity, individual productivity has decreased when they work in a remote condition, and that's because of the kind of situation they have to put up with. For example, what was pointed out just now, that they working from home, they have a family and all that. But in some cases, we have seen some people's productivity has actually increased. They are a little bit more focused when they are actually working independently, remotely. So for me, is I don't think there is a one size fit all thing. This is the once again the role of the manager. Look at who is producing better and have a conversation with them, because we have had people who said that I prefer coming back to work. I think I'll perform better at work. So what we have done right now is that we have created a situation where we just left it open. You decide. If you think you can work better from office, you come to the office. If you think you can work better from home, you work from home. But at the end of the day, hours is not what the issue is. Delivery is where the issue is. And I think as managers, you just focus on the delivery. And I think if we focus on the delivery, you can still have the productivity there. And if you find that productivity is not happening that way, then shift that person's work in a way where maybe they have to be in the office a lot more compared to others. They have to show up in the office uh, for a few more days and all that. And here comes another question about fairness. People ask about fairness and all this thing. Look, at the end of the day, you deliver. There's nothing about fair or unfair, or we're treating one person differently and the other person differently. If you start focusing on this fair and unfair, then you are getting swayed away from what the deliverables, what the goals are. If you stick to the goals, you stick to the deliverables, and you tell, look, I give you the flexibility, but you just give me the particular result. And if you have a challenge, come and talk, and let's just work that out. So I think for my clients, I have seen some clients actually had a drop in productivity when they work remotely, basically because they just don't know how to manage it. And some of them have decided that they're going to come back to work. Fine, that's what they have chosen. And key roles, certain key roles, they say they can still work remotely. Fine, then you work remotely. At the end of the day, you need to find your culture, what works in your organization, and see the fit, see the DNA of your company, and work things out and keep adjusting, make course correction until we reach the target.
Yes, it's fantastic, Treasure. So understanding the capacities from the team members important to manage the productivity, to understand what they need, what they want to refer to do to perform better. So to meet the demand of the company, right? So I hope that Jagger's answer will meet your perspective from Jonathan. So Jonathan, are you agree with the Jagger? So let me know on the chat box. That Concur focus on deliveries and deliverables. So great, so much. Thank you so much, Jonathan. And to sum up, so I have some key messages that I summarize the key message from the panelists right here. So I have, it's like a 5 best practice for leading a team remotely. The first one we can focus on to build the trust and inclusion. Like leaders must treat everyone with the respect and fairness. So leaders need to involve on meeting participants to create a sense of belonging. And we also create a cultures of transparency to encourage the team members to share their experiences and their concerns, right? And the second one is communicate well and often. So the leader or the managers and team members together should establish ground rules of communication. And leaders must pay attention and meet the personal needs of each team members. The first one is drive, focus, and accountability. So it means leader need to have set clearly or articulate the direction, the priorities, or set the SMART goals to focus on the results to benefit the company. And the fourth one is create a strong team culture. So I believe that the leaders and team members agree about their purpose, their goals, their metrics, their communication. So and leaders should encourage team members to reach out to each other when they need help. So recognize those who do it, to build up the sense of belonging, to build up the team culture strongly. And the final one is avoid burnout with empathy. So leaders need to remain vigilant about how employees are really feeling about their work, their workload, and their work-life balance. So and be empathetic to how each team member is feeling, so regardless of where they are located. So just the final questions, because we are talk a lot about the challenges, the engaging way. So I would like to ask you guys a question like, what is your happy moment when you lead the hybrid team, or when you are in the team member remotely, or when you talk to the remote leaders? So just the short answers. You can share your happy moment when you are a leader, when you are when you are the part of the team, to conclude the panel discussion.
I think for me, my happiest moment is when I see my team come together and do something we never thought can be done remotely, but done. I think that is utmost satisfying.
Yes, fantastic, Mallory. How about Trigger?
Okay, for me is when the team is happy, I'm happy, and the team is happy when we close a sale. So whenever we close a sale, everyone is excited, and I'm excited with them. So we all celebrate together when a new deal comes through.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful. How about Hassan?
I think I do agree with Jagat. The one of the happiest moment is when you finish a project and everyone is so happy. Another thing that makes me happy most of the time and all of the time is seeing individuals from different backgrounds, different cultures coming together and actually doing having this one vision, one goal, and trying to execute that vision. So that's the most thing that I'm happy about.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. How about Valerie?
Yes, thank you. So I think my happy moment is when the ideas are generated and there's a slight happy chaos around, where people are like agreeing with the ideas and someone is saying, no, 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 that's not the thing, that's not how it's going to work. But I think that energy that's created despite being away from each other, I think that is really something that I enjoy. Like it just makes me, you know, feel alive otherwise, as compared to the moments where you have to actually only work. So I think that is a go-to thing which I look forward to.
Wonderful. And the final one, I would like to hear from Karen.
Yeah, I guess my happy moment is when I'm working with clients and working with leaders who they suddenly get the light bulb moment, and you can see it's like, aha, that's how we do it. And it's usually the simplest thing. You mean I should be talking with my team? Yeah, it might be a good start, you know. Just that collaboration, that transparency and that authenticity, and the light goes on and goes, yes, and you see the magic happen. Great happy moment.
Wow, fantastic. I'm amused with your answers, your discussions today. So thank you so much for coming with us in this happy in this great Sunday today. And thank you so much, esteemed panelists. And I hope your thoughts or your experience will benefit the audience today. And thank you so much, audience, to join us, and especially Jonathan, especially Ichin. You have a great comment for us. And we also have the GES Treasure Hunt Contest. So everyone, you can scan the QR code at the corner of the screen, and you can collect points and get a top of the rewards to the Global Empowerment Summit 2021. And right now I have to say goodbye to everyone, and thank you again for coming with us and enjoy the moment with us. Thank you so much, everyone. See you again.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you. Take care, all.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.